So, hello and welcome to the show, which this week is all about social media for small businesses. And I've invited onto the show social media guru Elliot, who is from Be More Social. Now, hello, Elliot.
Hello.
So, I've invited you on the show because you're a guru at Be More Social, which is one of the UK's fastest growing social media companies in the UK. And I think I'm right in saying that your boss, Rick, has been helping businesses with social media before most of us even knew what social media is.
Literally, yeah. I think he was 10 years too early to the party.
Fantastic. So what I'm hoping to do to get from this session is maybe 15, 20 minutes, kind of bit of a deep dive into your brain and the stuff that you've learned being part of Be More Social, so we can give our listeners some valuable tips to help them as a small business to make the most of their social media efforts. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, sounds brilliant. Can't wait.
Fantastic. So let's start off by I suppose the well-known fact that small businesses are time sensitive, and where should they be focusing their efforts when it comes to social media?
I think for me, it's about looking at where your audience are. It's knowing what your audience is engaging on, because it can be completely different for everyone. I always recommend you stick to the big four: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, the simple ones. But sometimes it's a matter of just looking, okay, where am I going to get the best engagement? Where can I give the best value? Where can I get the most value? For me personally, it's Instagram and LinkedIn. But I know you get some wives of like husbands, or you get a lot of mothers that won't be on anything but Pinterest. So you'd say maybe a baby clothing company should just be on Pinterest all the time, because that's where the mothers are. I'd say start with Facebook. It's still the biggest one out of everywhere. You've got everyone on there, business owners, all the way to friends and family. And I think Instagram and TikTok is another thing to look at. Them too. A bit controversial, but I definitely will say them too.
Brilliant. Okay. Now, I know from personal experience that the hardest thing with social media is sitting down with a blank page and just trying to create a post from nothing. So without a social media plan, that's what you're going to end up doing. So a content plan is, we both know, is a must to have a kind of proactive social media effectiveness, if you like. So can you talk us a little bit about what a social media plan is, how it works, and kind of how far ahead should you be looking?
Well, a social media plan or content plan as such is all based around your goals. What do you want to get from your marketing? What are you really trying to achieve on social media? A lot of the time, starting from the off, it'll be from people say sales, and they want this and that, more opportunities. I think you can always start with your brand. What does your brand need first? And I always say, give yourself 3 to 6 months focusing on brand building and brand awareness, getting more engagement, likes, comments, follows, all of those. And I'd say working 90 days ahead. Look at your 90 days, like a quarterly plan. You've got your different quarters. Start every quarter, set your goals. What do I want to get in 90 days? Is it sort of brand awareness? Do I want to get this amount of followers by this date, an extra 200? Or do I want to have more of a finesse and narrowed audience? And then once you start with those 3 goals, and main 3 for your 90 days, you just break that down. What content do you need to do in order to make those goals? Is it more video? Is it, say, what we're doing, a podcast? Or is it going to be doing short guides on how to do things every single week in a slideshow? That's where I'd start. Start with your goals and start planning 90 days ahead.
Brilliant. Okay, so in those 90 days then, we know that promotional posts don't really work that well on social media. So in those 90 days, should we be doing any promotional posts talking about our products and services?
I think for me, it's you should, but you should do it when it's needed. So say if you're posting the ideal amount 5 to 7 times a week when you're building that brand before you get your audience, and lower it to 3 or 4 times a week, you should look at doing the majority of your organic posts all around brand awareness. And then towards that latter end of the week, you think of that buyer's mindset. That, at the start of the week, people might be hungover from the weekend. They might not want to be at work a Monday, Tuesday. So at the start of the week, you work on your brand awareness post, the motivational Monday or testimonials Tuesday, let people see others' experiences working with you. And towards that end of the week, that peak time of social media, Wednesday to Friday, Saturday at midday, you then start to use your promotional posts. So that you've talked, you've educated throughout the week, talked about what you do and, how people work with you. And then right at the end of the week, do you want to be a part of this as well? Well, come join us. We've got limited spaces available. So you're sort of working your funnel a little bit.
Yeah. And in relation to that, how important is it to be consistent with having the same themes on the same day, or does it not really matter?
I think it's a matter of A and B testing. You trial and error. You try one method and you try another and compare the results. So say if you give yourself a month, or even less than that, you might try for 1 or 2 weeks, one method of posting Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the same themes, and then doing complete and changing them about for the next 1 or 2 weeks. And so you get to the end of the month, you think, right, I know that this and this works. This is what I'm gonna do for the next 2 months, the next of my 90 days. So it's just a matter of A and B testing, and it can be sporadic. If something's not working, change it.
Yeah.
Really simple, because not loads of people get stuck in a rut thinking, I've got to do this, got to do this. You just got to give it time to judge whether it works or not.
Yeah, definitely. And all the platforms provide pretty good analytics, don't they, to show you really how each post is working.
Yeah, they all do. I think my favorite, Facebook, it's a bit of a bugger, to be honest. It's I don't know what Mark Zuckerberg was doing, but he's got analytics here, there, and everywhere. But the thing is, it's all there. That's the main thing. Yeah. Facebook page, business suites, Create Studio now as well as introduced insights. But my favorite breakdown is often LinkedIn and Instagram, because they give you really narrowed down insights specifically for your audience and who you're engaging with. They're my favorite ones, but every platform does. So Twitter got TweetDeck and Twitter lists, which really help, and it gives you a lot of analytics. And one of the analytics I do like is Linktree. I don't know if you've heard of Linktree much, Rob.
Yeah.
But if on Linktree, when you create it and you get the pro account, it gives you the analytics for how many people have clicked your Linktree, and then the breakdown of how many people click in each individual link.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I like.
Yeah, so Linktree is it's almost like a multi-purpose landing page that is literally just a list of links, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So whatever, and you usually use it as your bio link, I believe. So when somebody clicks your bio, they get a list. They can go to your website, your Facebook, your Instagram, and you're basically giving people the choice of where to go now to kind of learn more about you. Yeah,
massively. You give people options at the end of the day. Not everyone wants, and it's a good place for people to work within that first 3 to 6 months. Because you think if you're building your brand, you want everyone following you on every platform. So what's the best way to do that? Send them to Linktree, following every platform.
Yeah, brilliant. So if we now have a bit of an idea of what we want to post and when we want to post it, are there any tools that you can recommend to kind of make the whole process more efficient?
I'd say number one out there is Canva. It's completely free, and even for pro version, it's up to £10 a month. Yeah. You get loads and loads of things with it. And for the more advanced people, you look at more InDesign and Photoshop, and you look at Premiere Pro, but then you have to pay the Adobe fees for the packages. And then you've got a nice couple in there, which are free, is Unsplash, which gives you lots of high quality images completely free. Which you can use for your content, and the other one's Shutterstock as well. Shutterstock's a nice little one, but generally they're the ones I'd recommend to start your content with. Brilliant.
And when you're scheduling posts, so if you want to kind of pre-schedule your content, is there one particular tool that you would advise, or would you kind of schedule it through the individual platform?
Not many people know this, but you don't do it all through one. You never do it through one. A lot of people, you hear like Hootsuite or Sprout Social or Buffer, all of these types. You don't do it through one, because what happens is every platform has an algorithm, and they're smart. They're made for a reason. We're like this digital age, creating these great AIs. I don't know if you, Rob, have seen The Social Dilemma. When you watch that, it absolutely blows your mind away with what they are. Yeah. So what happens is if you schedule through one thing like Hootsuite, your content gets suppressed on every platform. Not so much LinkedIn and Twitter as much. They're quite okay with it. So there's not actually a scheduler for LinkedIn. So if you are going to schedule, I'd use Hootsuite, but I'd always recommend organic posting above anything. Facebook again and Instagram, something called Creator Studio. So Creator Studio with an OR at the end. That's the Facebook's own tool to schedule their content. And I would always be using that. If not, I'd be doing organic posting. It's just you got to compare. If you don't have time to organic post, schedule for consistency, because something going out is better than anything. Then Twitter, TweetDeck.
Yeah,
it's the best one. Lad. So you've got Hootsuite for LinkedIn, Creator Studio for Facebook and Instagram, and TweetDeck for Twitter.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, you mentioned the algorithms. Being a bit of a geek, I sometimes play around with the algorithms. So on Instagram, I'll sometimes deliberately just hang around and look at certain types of posts just for a bit longer and see how my kind of feed changes in terms of the types of content. And it does literally within hours, it starts showing me more of that type of content. So it's amazing how clever these algorithms are. So they obviously know if you're just automatically scheduling posts. So logic says it's not going to give that as much precedence as if you go into the platform and create a post.
Oh, massively. I think I love that you mentioned the Instagram algorithm as well. It's by far my favorite platform because of the ability, the people that's on it, and you can touch to anyone. But I like you mentioned these staying on a bit longer, because Instagram, there's a few methods to actually help your engagement. There's always a method. If you do 10 minutes outreach, like engaging, liking, commenting, sending messages before and after you post organically, not scheduled, you'll find that your post gets better engagement.
Really?
Doing the 10 minutes before and after, to educate the algorithm. It's a little trick I've learned. So next time you're on Instagram, try that.
Right, okay. I never knew that.
And there's also another trick where if you're posting it from your phone, if you say swipe up off the app, like completely get rid of it. I'm imagining this for Apple users mainly, and you come back to it 3 hours later, you'll find that Instagram is pushing your post to get you back on.
Right. Okay.
It's pushing your post up your followers' news feeds to get people liking it more and more, so that it can get you back on Instagram because it notices you swiped off it.
Yeah.
So brilliant. It's quite smart. It's a little trick for you.
Cool. Okay. Going back to kind of efficiency, can you talk a little bit about repurposing posts on different platforms? So if I say I've written a blog post on our website and I want to promote that, do I just blanket post the same thing on all different channels, or do I need to be a little bit selective and edit it per channel?
I'd say everything's got to be it's got to be tailored for the content you make has got to be tailored for every channel. If you're generally, if you're going to be cross posting, the only thing I would make sure is you watch your hashtags, because a lot of people put the same amount of hashtags or wrong hashtags. And there is a limit for every post on every platform. There is actual limits you get suppressed on or it counts for. But you can post the same content, like on a Monday on Facebook. That content can go to Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn as well. It's just you've got to make sure you watch your tone of voice and language. Because if you say on LinkedIn to all my connections, that's not applicable to Instagram and Facebook, is it?
No. Cool. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned hashtags. So I think it's one of the big confusing areas for people who don't do a lot of social media. So can you just go through maybe Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and Twitter to tell us the ideal number of hashtags that we should be using on those platforms?
So first thing with hashtags is it works best on Instagram and Twitter. That's what hashtags work best on. It's very much an Instagram game, but per post on every platform, Facebook didn't used to allow you to use hashtags to suppress your content if you used hashtags. It's a myth, it's a myth now. Since they did that update November, December last year, where they integrated Instagram and Facebook a bit more, it now lets you use up to 25 hashtags, just like Instagram. Now, I know a lot of people who will listen to this, probably yourself, they'll think, oh, I thought the cap for Instagram was 30 per post. It's not anymore. It's 15 to 35 per post. So when people cross-post into Facebook, it realized that it's not suppressing hashtags anymore, because it's encouraging conversation. But it looks very ugly on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I always say 3 to 5 Facebook per post, 15 to 25 per post on Instagram, 3 on LinkedIn, and 2 on Twitter. Those are my recommendations. But it's making sure you're using hashtags that's relevant to your audience and the copy, not always just the business and the industry.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, last question. Links. So I've heard that the platforms, for obvious reasons, don't want you to use links because it's sending you off to other places, taking them off their platform. Is that true, or does it vary across the different channels?
It is true generally. However, some algorithms, different platforms will judge you differently. So say LinkedIn, it doesn't suppress links massively, but generally across the board, if you're, say, the owner of a platform like LinkedIn or Facebook, and one of your users is taking someone away from you, it's going to suppress you because you're taking money away from them. They're not on your platform. So I'd always recommend using a call to action, click the link in the bio or click the link in the comments if you're posting organically. If you're scheduling, you would say click the link in the bio. But if you're posting yourself onto a platform like Facebook or Instagram, you'd say you put the link in the comments and just say click the link below.
Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic. So, I mean, I've been on some of the Be More Social webinars, and they are, I think, Be More Social's philosophy is all around educating people about social media. And I think the webinars are the most kind of information loaded webinars I've ever attended. So I'd recommend anyone listening who's found anything that you've said insightful to get along to one of the webinars. Can you just let us know when the next webinar is? And then obviously if we've passed that date, how we can find out when the next webinar would be?
So yeah, 100%. Some of my webinars are great, and the one I'd encourage people to go to is the one on Friday, the 3rd of September, which is only for an hour and a half long, 10 till 11:30. And the reason I like this one, it's how to increase your sales on LinkedIn. So it's a social media masterclass by Rick. He's great with LinkedIn, and it helped us grow by 610% through a pandemic. Just that one of those platforms single-handedly. If not, it's worth going to the Be More Social Eventbrite page and go and seeing what webinar is good for you. There's all the way from the 5 fundamentals of social media to LinkedIn, plenty.
Yeah, brilliant. And I'll include all the links in the show description as well.
Awesome.
So fantastic. And one last thing, I believe Be More Social offer a kind of free social media review. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. So anyone that comes to a webinar or is even interested in trying to market a little bit better, we do a free 45-minute social media review where you walk away with 3 strategies to go implement to your weekly broadcast.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Elliot. Absolutely jam-packed full of really good tips for our listeners. I'll put all the details in the notes so people can find out more. So thank you once again, and catch up soon.
It's been a pleasure.